powerful all at the same time. Let's get this show on the road.
As we are continuing forward to go into these matchups, we're going to be seeing just continued back and forth gameplay as these high school teams continue to vie for their positions in these matchups.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to single out a single game when it's all going on like that. I mean, you got so much action going on all at the same time, but here we go, focusing in on LSR and Hyper Shot. We got Falco versus Palutena in this matchup. Falco going down a little bit earlier, and Palutena once again showing off their skills. This is a mirror match from one of their last rounds.
Yeah, continuing to be, I feel like, a thematic mirror match back and forth between these teams. We do know who I believe we're seeing right now. If I remember correctly, this is going to be the Rigby and Twin Falls matchup right now, as both of these teams are continuing to figure out who is going to take this second round matchup and be able to go into the championships.
Indeed, you got quite a lot on the line right now as we see Palutena climb up in the percentages. However, not quite able to find it from Falco. He's not been able to get that one shot until now. Caster Curse, I just said it happened.
Yeah, and I do believe that the matches in the background are going to be the consolation matchups, as those haven't turned in, and they're just going to be playing in the background. But right now, focusing on these important matchup here, 1-1 right now on stocks. These players have been playing back and forth quite a lot right now. They're very familiar with the matchups that they're going into and the stakes involved with that. If they are not able to find victory here, it is going to create an advantage for the other team. And when you're going to try and vie for the gold right now, that's a pretty big deal. And so we can see right now Falco trying to look for an opportunity, but at 122%, any hit from Palutena could be deadly. So using all the tricks in his toolbox here, as Palutena waits for the recovery, trying to jump in. Falco looking for that advantage off ledge, but not able to find it right now.
Yeah, no stakes can be made in this matchup quite yet. Both players at one stock left, but Palutena not able to recover. It's going to be Falco who wins it this time.
Falco does find it, though, I believe at one stock going into that next matchup. That is going to be dangerous to keep up. So we'll have to see how far Falco can get continuing forward into these games. You know, once again, just wanting to like stress how awesome it is to be in this arena for this championship as we continue forward. You know, all of these teams have just been working so hard, and it's all culminating in this moment. You know, if you win this, you get to go home with a fancy little trophy here. We've got one for first, second, and third place. You know, what's more Idaho than a piece of wood that is shaped like the state
Indeed.
to show off your victory in crew battles for 2026 Idaho Esports, you know. And I just think that's such a fun thing to do, because, you know, you can have like a boring old trophy, or you can have something really iconic in your trophy stand, and that is exactly what these teams are looking for right now.
Indeed, especially with a lot of us going right up, or we're getting really close to the end here. I mean, we've played through quite a few rounds. We've gotten through some of the hardest matchups, and with some harder ones even yet to come. We have the top two teams who are about ready to play. We got the championship coming up, and of course all the consolation ones, where we should see some of the tightest games that we've seen all day. This is where the teams get matched up with people who are relative to their skill level, and it's probably where we're going to see the most skill expression.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes, as right now, as we've continued to mention, the highest seeded team right now is the one that is waiting for first place. So some expectations have been broken and others have continued forward. You know, one of the teams to look out for has indeed made it all the way to the championship, as we now get to look into Falco's continued run through this crew battle up against Cloud now, looking to shut down that limit break before it can even happen, if possible. But with how Cloud works, you know, every piece of damage can increase it, and being able to charge it up, that is going to be brutal if Falco cannot keep up the damage here. Cloud fighting for Twin Falls, while Falco continuing the crusade for Rigby.
Yeah, lots of damage coming in from the Falco, just not allowing Cloud even a second to breathe, but the limit comes off, and it's going to do a lot of damage, but not quite enough. Endless still at 121%. Falco really just needs to get close, but he can't. Hyper shot, going to go down way earlier than expected, and Cloud, he doesn't have to hit you all that much. All he's got to do is get a few good shots in, and then you are toast.
And you know, just kind of sticking patient with that the entire time, despite the fact that Falco had ramped up the damage so quickly, Cloud just stayed the course, waiting for that opportunity to send Falco flying. And sometimes I think it's a really good thing to like be paying attention to in matchups, you know. One player can be making a lot of hits, and honestly, the way that Falco was playing was keeping those combos so tight. It was impressive, but Cloud waited for that one moment to break through. And when you're playing characters that are such high damage characters with relatively slower attacks, Cloud's not slow, but he's certainly not fast in how all of his attacks land. Ultimately, able to find that opportunity there.
Yeah, and I feel like it's something that you start to learn a lot more about your characters. Their sort of breakpoints, what you can do with them, what you can reasonably get away with, and it's what we're starting to see here. I mean, we're seeing these matchups come through. We saw the Palutena and Falco 3 times over the course of that matchup, and we saw that over the course of 3, Palutena won 2, Falco finally found a way to win that final one and where it mattered the most. And as we go in, we get to see Brawler take the win.
Yeah, Brawler continuing the back and forth in the background, though I do need to call out real quick. Mixed up the schools there for that. Ridley is fighting for the side of Twin Falls, and Cloud is there for Rigby there. As we continue this back and forth, Limit goes off, but once again, Rigby able to jump away and avoid that. Now continuing to look for an opportunity, but Ridley does not want to let it happen. Side note, Ridley not being on the Rigby team is a crazy close naming thing, going to be dangerous for this matchup here. With Ridley at 100% right now, Cloud just needs to find that one solid hit to try and knock him off the stage, and both players know that. Great parries from either side, putting up their shields for the right timing to block an attack can be such an advantageous thing to do, and we can see that is enough to find momentum to knock Cloud off the side and deny any recovery.
Yeah, and when you don't exactly have the most phenomenal recovery in the world, even just a little bit can take you over the edge. However, he's going to get his get back right soon after. Cloud going to take Ridley down to 2 stocks as well. However, Cloud is kind of on the back foot, not really able to find very much pressure in it. He's doing a little bit. He's kind of dancing around, but Ridley is doing a good job at really zoning him out.
Ooh, but great counter there is going to go through from Cloud, not able to fully capitalize on it damage-wise, but they continue forward. Ridley, nice charge there on the attack and able to find an opening to knock Cloud off the stage, keeping some advantage here for Ridley right now. For Twin Falls finding some momentum in this matchup now, and Rigby is going to have to figure out how to do that right now as Cloud has finally reached his limit once again. Oh, but the attack does not go through.
The limit wasn't high enough. Just wasn't able to get there. But we're seeing a lot of good play still out of him. He's still trying to get in. He's got 88% to his name. Actually, nope, scratch that, 103. But he still has the ability to take Ridley down a stock, and that's really what you're looking for right now. But Ridley, with the up smash, is going to shut that down.
Found the opening in the shield block there. You know, Cloud was being really careful putting up a shield, trying to avoid any attacks, and found the exact opportunity he needed. Now checking back in on our other matchups, we got a Pyra and Mythra going up against Luigi. Right now, Pyra jumping in for a devastating powerful attack that is able to throw Luigi off the side, bringing him down to 1 stock, but not out of the woods yet. Going to swap back to Mythra for some faster speed back and forth, try and get some more control of Battlefield.
Yeah, Mythra doing a lot of damage, or really just kind of dancing around, looking for the opportunity against Luigi. 2 characters that are very, very fast, have the ability to get into combos really easy. Liquid trying to go for an up special to start something, but unfortunately it is going to cause a little bit of a backlash with the end lag that comes on.
And now spinning in the air, need to look for the recovery, but Pyra catches Luigi off guard, bringing him to 99%. This next recovery is crucial, able to block the damage with the shield, move forward and get the grab to start a combo against Pyra and Mythra here.
Yeah, Pyra's doing quite a bit of damage. Liquid already up to 110, has the opportunity to really just go for it, and they do, up to 126, and with the spike, it isn't going to go down, but Liquid manages to stay up. He's still staying on the edge. He's looking for one more. This is his final stock. He needs to make something happen now. He needs to kill Pyra Mythra at least once. Can he get it done? I mean, we've seen a whole lot of him out of before, but Pyra has been doing a good job at sort of staying away from the big hits. But the big hit was found. Instead, it was on Liquid this time around. Mithra is going to take it in the end.
That is going to be Bora taking a knockout there. This is the 5th, 6th place match that we were watching. Luigi representing Bora and Idaho Falls. Pyra Mithra. As we go back to our other matchups here, we've got Zelda versus Ridley. Once again, just continuing to see these characters, Zelda and Ridley, back and forth here. Right now, Ridley at 2 stocks to Zelda's 3.
Yeah, Zelda kind of put in an awkward situation between Ridley and the ledge, and especially as Ridley, a character that can do so much damage. Oh! Spike off the edge! Oh yes, I'm gonna put you right below. You see that? See the ledge? You're not grabbing it.
Yep, I'm gonna smash your dreams against this stage as you plummet to the ground. Well, Ridley's way of doing it is so funny because he grabs you, does a little spin, and smacks you. It's not even just a toss, it's a little fancy spin. But Zelda's got plenty of tricks up her sleeves as well. Once again, just continuing to throw out those knights, creating space, dealing damage, but Ridley able to close the gap here and get up close and personal.
Yeah, they're very long sleeves. There's a lot of stuff you can put up there. You know, bag of Doritos here, a candy bar there. There's a lot of stuff you can fit up those sleeves, and she's showing off all those tricks right now. You got Zelda trying to do a little bit of...
The revenge spike! The revenge spike! Zelda, representing Rigby here, was like, 2 can play that game, and knocks Ridley off the side here as Twin Falls needs to continue to find an opening if they can, now at 1 stock.
I see your bet, and I raise you off the stage.
I raise you 1 more stage knockout as both players down to their last stock here. Ridley at 67% right now, but closing the gap a little bit, just once again with having such heavy hitting attacks and decent range. Zelda can dodge and has some good range to deal with that themselves, but if you get up close and personal and get a grab, it's going to be dangerous. Conversely, Zelda can do the same and go, whatever, it's fine, you're going to go into the air, I'm going to grab you and throw off the stage. Ridley looking for the potential recovery here, but not immediately able to capitalize on it. Might put Zelda in a similar position to before, but okay, dodge roll away.
No.
Oh, but gets slammed across the stage. It's not going to be the knockout, but this is a deadly recover.
Oh, but the back air is gonna do him in.
Hey, you know what? If throwing them forward doesn't work, kick them back the other way. Twin Falls finding a way there, taking out Zelda's Rigby. Now at 1 stock as we're going to check in. That was actually the victory. Twin Falls took that. Yeah. With
what
that
a way to win a round.
Yeah, what a way to win a round. With that, Twin Falls has secured their position in the championship, going up against their opponent for the 1st and 2nd place matchups there.
And what a way to determine the finals as well. You had a nail biter of a game. First game to go to 3 rounds. We saw some great plays out of both teams, but in the end, we got our finalists. They're going to be playing for 1st and 2nd. But you know what? It's not out for the loser, too, because you can still win a trophy. You just got to win the next game, too.
You have to keep that in mind. So we know our 1st and 2nd place and our 3rd and 4th place games, and we have some of our consolation games going on as well. All of these players just continuing their momentum match after match as we get to see what these results are going to look like coming up pretty soon.
Oh, yeah, and this is going to be very fun. I enjoy this part of the tournament probably the most. You get to see all these different players, and it's a Pyra Mithra mirror match.
What a mirror match. You know, the interesting thing about this mirror match is we can actually have different movesets coming out because one player can play Pyra and the other is going to play Mithra. But for the most part, it's good to stick onto similar characters until you find your opening. You know, both want to be on Mithra until they need that really powerful attack from Pyra, just like what we saw right then and there, as both characters are going to swap and change it up. This totally won't be confusing to commentate whatsoever.
We'll just call them both Pyra. We'll call it
Pyra. No.
Man, look at that. Pyra just got blown off the stage by Pyra.
Don't do this, man. Don't do this to me.
Hey, it's not my fault.
Ooh, that would would be the current Mythra Elite getting knocked out of the ring there, as Myra on the Mythra as well is looking for another opportunity for a knockout here.
Yeah, lots of damage. Myra doing quite a bit to keep Elite off the stage, but at 151, any attack from Elite's Pyra will do a ton of damage. Myra still keeping away, doing a lot of damage in turn, not really giving anyone an opportunity to really get anything done, but as Elite tries to get back up, it's not enough. Diving right back down. That is going to be Elite down for the count.
Yeah, both players in the back and forth here, going off stage. Myra, despite being such high percentage, is not afraid, but maybe not afraid enough, as Elite is able to find the opening to get the knockout, bringing it back 1-to-1 stock-wise.
1-to-1 stock-wise. 48% on Elite, though, is going to be quite the mountain to climb. As the parry does come through, Elite is not going to be able to get away from that. But Myra also didn't do too much damage to capitalize. Just not a lot going on, a lot of dodging around, trying to look for an opportunity while blows are just kind of glanced off each other.
Yeah, both teams back and forth right now. Elite a little worse for wear, getting knocked off the side of the stage, and that was the combo that Myra was looking for, able to knock out that game. 1 stock left. This is, last I checked, going to be the Thunder Ridge Jerome matchup that we just watched, as they currently are in progress with Bora and Idaho Falls checking in, and now we know our first and third place matchups here. Twin Falls is going to be going up against Burley. This is a bit of an upset against Rigby, who was the first place seed for Mountain, whereas Twin Falls was the third place seed for Mountain region. So Rigby having a bit of a fall, going to go up against Wood River to see who is going to get third place. Conversely, Twin Falls rising up a bit here to go face off against Burley, who currently has shown that they can end a match quick, as they have been chilling comfortably this entire time, waiting for their matchup here, as we'll have to see how these matchups go against each other. This is the final round of crew battles that we're going to be witnessing coming up pretty shortly here, as we once again are going to check in on our 7th, 8th place matchup. And then it immediately ends, because our timing is incredible right now. But you know what? We did get to see the last knockout there. Ridley winning across the board right now, I suppose. What a great thing to see.
What a freeze frame.
What a freeze frame indeed. You know, obviously, production always getting our good side. As we're going to get ready to check in now. These are going to be some penultimate matchups here that we are getting ready for, and quite the moment. As everything that we've seen before, you know, normally we like to come in with like a docs, keys to the game, talk about some of our tips. We didn't get to do that at the beginning, but for these final matches, do you have any tips or thoughts that you have been thinking about as we've been watching these games go?
Let me pull out my big bag of knowledge.
Big bag of knowledge, because we totally play this game a lot.
Oh yes, we play this game a lot. I mean, it's not like we watch it all the time. But honestly, stick to the fundamentals. That's really the big thing. I mean, you can go for flashy plays if you think it's going to work, but stick to what you know. Stick to what you think is going to do really well, and usually that is enough to get you through.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about that mindset, you know. Obviously, we love to see a good, stylish finish. We enjoyed watching Zelda and Ridley hit each other off the stage for a more flashier knockout, but at the same time, those have risks that other knockouts don't. And so, as we continue to watch these games, you know, just play to your best, what you love, and go forward with pride, as everything has gone here for this. And as we're getting ready to go, we'd love to highlight that today's broadcast is sponsored by Idaho Launch, helping Idaho students take the next step forward with their future funding for education, training, and career opportunities in high-demand industries. Whether it's college, certifications, or workforce training, Idaho Launch is investing in the next generation of Idaho talent. So, you know, hey, high schoolers, as you're continuing through these championships, great thing to think about, you know, as you go forward. And as we go forward into another matchup, that's going to be Min Min and Inkling here. You know, someone we actually haven't gotten to highlight a lot, because Min Min has always been ending their matches right as we're going to check in with that. Min Min, one of the really interesting characters in the game, being that they're a brawler, but their fist comes to you.
Indeed. I mean, they're a brawler that can punch you from halfway across the stage. It's kind of crazy, especially with how much mobility that the arms do have. Going up against Inkling, it's all going to be about who can take the most space and who can hold it the best. And with bombs coming through, Frag Cake on the mid-min is going to have to work hard to try and dodge everything while also keeping everybody at an arm's length.
For those of you that don't know, the game that Min comes from is called ARMS, which is the pun that Bryce is trying to make. Unfortunately, not enough people know about ARMS.
Yeah, it's criminally underrated.
It's criminally underrated. You know what? This is the battle of the games with peak soundtracks right now.
That is true.
Both Splatoon and ARMS have such good soundtracks, but unfortunately for ARMS, that is not enough to protect them from Inkling hitting them with the roller and launching them straight into the air.
We should have gotten an ARMS 2 with the Switch 2.
If only.
Because then the Switch 2 might have games.
So anyway, ignoring our thoughts on Nintendo and other games, Super Smash Bros. As we continue forward. You know what? I see that we're having another Inkling match in the background, which is really fun to see. But as we continue this matchup, Inkling holding strong right now, despite the high percentage, is continuing to rack it up and catches Min with the same attack as before, finding good old Reliable in the roller.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, that's what the R in roller stands for. It's old reliable. It's what you turn to when you're sad, but unfortunately it doesn't matter because the arms will find their target in the end. And Min has two of them. You dodge the first one doesn't mean you're going to mean to dodge the second, especially with the Dragon Arm as well, having that little bit of extra range.
Very true. And now as we continue these matchups, we are going to be seeing right now Thunder Ridge versus Jerome. Inkling representing Thunder Ridge, continuing the 7th, 8th place matchup right now. As we see the rest of the games getting online too in the background, we are jumping straight into these championship matchups.
Yeah, lots of damage from Min, starting to find their flow a little bit. Able to keep Inkling at an arm's reach, but not really able to secure a kill as the roller comes through. It's going to get a little bit of damage through, but it's not going to be enough to kill. Spike on the Inkling has done a really good job at staying away from some of the heavier hitters, but still taking a little bit of damage here and there could come back to bite him in the end.
And while this match has been going on, it does look like Idaho Falls and Bora have completed their first round of their matchup. Idaho Falls taking the first win, putting them at match point. Speaking of match point, we are rapidly reaching the finality of this matchup. Min at 100%, getting hit by the attack once more, but able to survive at 138%. Inkling now looking to close this out if he can find it, bringing the roller out, but Min is wiser to that one. Bringing out the heavier arm as well, but it's not enough if the grenade can launch you so far now, being in these upper percentages.
Yeah, at 162, just about anything from Inkling's kick.
Oh! And that is it. Inkling, once again, going to the good old Reliable, able to close that out and continue the run that we are currently on for Inkling. I'm enjoying seeing so much Inkling gameplay right now. Thunder Ridge finding that advantage in that matchup, as we're now going to check in on Link and Isabel. Link looking for an opportunity here, but at one stock, does get the parry off of the shield, continuing to block damage effectively, looking for those opportunities here.
Yeah, we've actually seen a lot of success out of the Inklings in this tournament. I mean, we're seeing another one in the top right, just taking the win as well.
Victory against Luigi.
Yeah, but from the perspective of the one that's actually focused here, Glue. What a name. on the Link is doing quite a lot.
Shout out to Glue from Bryce right now.
Shout out to Glue. He's really sticking it to the Isabel. Lots of damage being done. Unfortunately, the bomb does get pocketed. Still a lot of opportunity to really take this Isabel out as well. One more stock. You keep things a little bit more even. Make sure that you're not digging a hole for the next player on your team. But also make sure that you're watching out for that bomb that Isabel is keeping around, because she can throw that out whenever she wants. But the Lloyd Rocket's going to get it.
You got to be careful with those. They can pack a punch if you're not careful. And we are seeing a little bit of the battle of the range. One fishing rod versus a bow. Who will win? And this is going to be the Rigby versus Wood River match. Isabel representing Rigby, able to take a victory here over Wood River as they both are contending to find their third place victory here. We are officially in the finals here too. That is the third place matchup that is happening below, and then also we've got the rest of them going. I see Falco up top facing off a Kazuya. That is going to be a big back and forth here. Falco representing Twin Falls and Kazuya representing Burley. This is the championship match right here. Actually, no, this is the second, third place. This is the second, third place matchup right now, but this is the third place. Wait, this is the third place.
No, this should be first and second.
My roster is tricking me. This is the first place matchup, and for me to continue that hype, Kazuya versus Falco. Every fight counts right now. You are vying for that first place, and so far, Falco trying to find some momentum at the second stock, but Kazuya is racking up the damage, and Falco is going to bring that stock to an end.
Whole lot of damage coming out from both players. Kazuya actually wasn't able to utilize his special move from hitting 100% because that will go away if you take too much damage. You gotta use it or lose it, and unfortunately for him, he lost it as Hypershot is really just piling it on. He's doing a good job at staying away from a lot of the really good combo starters that Kazuya has, and Kazuya really hasn't been able to get up close and personal like he has been to a lot of the players in this tournament. However, now I might have just jinxed it, but no, Falco's still able to just slip away and get it done.
But the power-up is out, and we can see how brutal that attack is, getting an instant knockout on Falco, bringing him down to one stock, but Falco's like, no. Return to sender, that's another knockout. 1-1, both teams going down to the wire right now.
I would expect nothing less of a champion matchup.
Exactly, that is what we want to see. Both teams looking for their opportunities, looking to exploit those weaknesses, and we see a grab from Kazuya that it can be dangerous. Already Falco at 77%, having to dodge around and try and find some command of the stage here.
Oh, and there's that 10-step combo, tons of damage coming through, and that's it for Falco! Lots of damage coming through from Kazuya, and that is enough to take him down. You don't see that hit too often, but when it does, oh my goodness, it's hype.
And I love to say that this is called foreshadowing. Bryce talking about the move, and look at us finding it in the championship matchup. Exactly what we'd expect.
Foreshadowing is a literary device in which the storyteller.
Ooh, Mr. Game & Watch in the background. That's fun to see.
I got a good friend who likes Game & Watch. You don't see him too often, but there's a lot of tricky stuff that you can do with him, especially with his up special. You got a little bit of a down air. You can cancel it super easy. He's kind of jank.
Yeah, we've got Revelry versus Stormblessed here. Game & Watch versus Inkling as we check in on the matchup here right now. Both looking for their opportunities so far. Inkling finding the momentum and speed to get some damage racked up on this first stock.
Oh, Inkling actually taking an early command of the stage. So much damage being racked up, taking away a lot of the projectiles that Mr. Game & Watch has, and with the roller, oh, let me paint you a picture.
Yeah, knockout there from Inkling representing Idaho Falls, Game & Watch representing Bora, back to the fifth, sixth place match right now. Both going back and forth. Unfortunately for Game & Watch, just not quite finding the openings that they want, as Inkling using the shield to avoid a lot of the most brutal attacks. Ooh! Parry onto that, having to walk around the ink. Be careful for that hammer attack. A little bit of a prequel, well, a preview to what could happen here. Ooh! And that's exactly what I was talking about. You gotta be careful. It can deal some good damage and launch you so high into the air.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the combos being done out of the Inkling, but however, it just hasn't quite been found until
there it
now.
Is! Using the paintbrush to knock Game & Watch off the side.
Here we go, final stock for Mr. Game & Watch. He's got quite the mountain to climb. Judge comes through, but Inkling isn't falling for it, not quite getting up there to where he wants to be. Still trying to zone him out, but with Mr. Game & Watch, it's a little bit harder to stuff out anybody coming at you. You really want to take command early, and we just haven't quite seen that as much as another ground comes through, and it doesn't result in too much. Inkling still just hammering it home.
Ooh, tries to go for the hammer. Fine, you know what? If it doesn't work the first time, try again. And Game & Watch is able to find that stock. But as this is continuing to progress, we are going to the next finals game as well. It's going to be, I see, Ridley versus Kazuya here. Kazuya going up against the big green lizard. Right now, already a stock loss onto the Ridley here.
Yeah, and especially at 92% already against a Kazuya is not where you want to be. You want to take him up as high of percentage as you can. Otherwise, you are just giving him ground to work with.
Yeah, Kazuya once again representing Burley with Ridley for Twin Falls here. Trying to find an opportunity through. Ridley just needs to find one stock knockout here and preserve as many as possible. And so far, so good, but on to that power-up, and with the platform right there to make recoveries easier. It's a dangerous spot to be in. Kazuya trying to go for any potential picks off of the side, and then it's rolling right up into shield, and the combo! Launching Ridley off the side, going to look for that recovery, but this is going to be a dance on ledge, back and forth, finding that knockout onto Ridley.
And notably, preserving the really powerful grab that he had. Unfortunately, no! He's still alive!
Kazuya looked for the fake knockout and said, nah, I'm still here, throwing Ridley onto the stage, and we're going to see a flick up, going to have to work harder for that knockout, but Kazuya making Ridley work for it. Twin Falls able to find some momentum and bring it back a bit here, but still quite even in that matchup as we're going to check in on Luigi and King K. Rool.
A lot happening in this game. We got K. Rool up to 130%. The Luigi still only sitting at 0. Both of them are at 1 stock. However, Luigi does have quite the advantage. Not enough to take King K. Rool out, though. You're going to need a little bit harder hit than that.
Ooh, yep. Going to use his little helicopter hat to fly back up and then try and look for the grab. But as he's throwing the ground, Luigi gets him with the kick, knocking him off the side. Good aerial attack, read on the shield drop. As we're going to check in on another matchup, Brawler versus Zelda right now. As we're looking for an opportunity to break through, Brawler tries to throw his little cannonball, but it's not going to immediately find anything, but that is a brutal attack if it lands.
Yeah, the shot put does so much damage. It beats almost every other projectile in damage done. It's honestly a little crazy, and if you're able to hit that arc, it really does help out a lot. However, Zelda has a lot of the tools to get around it, and we're seeing that a whole lot. However, Meat Brawler is just doing a good job at keeping him off the stage, and that is what they want to do. Meat Brawler in a spot where, or actually both players really in a spot where any attack will take him out, and there goes the Meat Brawler. Gets taken down after a valiant fight.
Thunder Ridge knocked out there to Zelda's, well, Jerome Zelda, as we're now going to check in back on Revelry and Elite. We keep seeing them fight each other quite a bit here, as we've got a Pyramithra versus another Inkling. Back and forth. Looks like Revelry might be on their last stand here. Kind of on the back foot, 3 stocks to 1, but finding the recovery knockout there. Pyramithra is going to go down.
Able to take him nonetheless, and sometimes that's just what you need. You got Pyramithra trying to get in, but actually getting around it really well. Inkling is able to dodge a whole lot of the attacks that are coming out. That is what you want to see with a lighter character. It's what you want to see out of a character that does a lot of the stuff that Inkling does. However, you do need to get in and start to get a little bit more damage, especially to make up the difference in stocks that were there.
And we're back to the championship as Ridley looks to continue the run here. Now facing up against Joker, a character we didn't see a ton of earlier, but we did see how potent those attacks can be. And now Ridley needs to find a way through for Twin Falls before they get knocked out by Burley. Finding some combos here for Joker right now. Joker for Burley, looking for that opportunity and just looking to get Arsene maximized. That could just be an instant knockout if Ridley can't avoid it.
Yeah, we've seen it quite a few times now. Joker can knock out Ridley very easily with Persona. However, it has to land first, and with the command grab keeping him off stage, he's going to have to use it just to recover.
Oh, but he's able to dodge and throws Ridley off the side. Now needs one counter and is going to get the counter through, knocking Ridley Burley off the stage for the knockout. And I mean, with Joker at 3 stocks, they knew they were comfortable. Burley was willing to take the risk to guarantee that knockout. As we're now going to be jumping into that next matchup, Twin Falls is going to have to be careful here now. Burley at 3 stocks on their character.
But Inkling's about to 3. Inkling has managed to stay in this game this whole time, taking 2 stocks off a lead. Can Revelry take the 3rd for the sweep? Oh, the roller and the paintbrush! Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be your Derry West play of the game. Reform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottle.com for more information. And Inkling, what a play! 3 stocks managing to keep themselves up the whole time.
That is, I think, some of the fun of the crew battle that we are seeing in full force right now between these 2 teams. But now, back in the finals, a completely even stock matchup right now, but a lot on the line. Ridley not able to take any stocks from Joker in that previous matchup means that Twin Falls has a lot of work cut out for themselves with Banjo right now. Because I do believe Banjo is going to be their final player.
I believe you are correct, as Joker is trying to get a little bit of damage in here. Still remaining relatively even. I mean, you don't expect Joker to get super high up in percentage or super high in a percentage lead until Persona comes out in full force, and we haven't seen that quite yet. But we're close. Never mind, we're there.
There is Arsen out in full force. We can see Twin Falls immediately backing off. Banjo Kazooie does not want to get hit by that if they can help it, but they cannot, getting hit through the platform above and already up to 100%. Needing to be as careful as possible in the background here as Arsen continues to go down. Now the big job is just to avoid the last of it and go from there. Joker now down. Arsen needs to be careful as Banjo throws them off the side, looking to punish any recovery right now.
And that is just what you need. Joker is at his weakest right now when he doesn't have Persona. He's in a spot where he's not going to do too much damage, so you need to take him out now before he can build it once more.
As we continue this back and forth with Arsen activating, Idaho Falls has won their matchup, taking 5th place, locking in their victory against Bora here, who will be 6th place now. As Joker gets launched off the side, keeping it even here between these 2 teams.
Oh, has done quite a bit of damage, is able to take T-Bell down quite a lot, however, not enough to prevent the recovery entirely. It's been a lot of effort trying to get back on, but Pez still doing quite a bit, able to use the dodge roll to get away from the Wonder Wing, and that is not quite what T-Bell was expecting.
That's going to be rough with only 2 charges left for this stock. And Arsen back online. Banjo and Kazooie are going to have to get a little creative on how they handle these next attacks, using shields to avoid anything too painful so far, and playing a dangerous game close to ledge. Joker going for 1 strong attack already brought them to 100, and now down to their last Wonder Wing. It's not going to be enough to save them. Their last stock.
Yeah, at least they have 5 more Wonder Wings now.
And at least they have 5 more Wonder Wings now. 1 down and getting grabbed by Joker as they look for those new opportunities. Do have quite a bit of damage on Joker's current stock, but if they can't get out of this combo, it might not matter.
There's so much damage coming through, not enough time to really get away from it, not really very many opportunities to capitalize on, as Wonder Wing has to be used to get right back and off the stage!
There is! That is the knockout that Burley was looking for there as we now continue forwards. Notably, remember, this is still a best of, so we're now going to be looking to lock into their next setups here. Game 1 is going to go to Burley. As a result, as we see Dark Samus find a victory against Zelda here.
Yeah, finding yourself at 160%, definitely not exactly where you want to be, but able to take out a stock is definitely what you need to do.
It does look like Inkling found a victory against Pyramithra in the background as well. Just a lot of back and forth. And as we get ready to look into round 2 of the finals, I'd like to also highlight that today's broadcast is also brought to you by Idaho Ideal, Idaho's 529 college savings program. Idaho Ideal helps families save for future education expenses with flexible, tax advantage plans designed to make college and career training more affordable. Start planning for tomorrow with Idaho Ideal. And you know, to add on to that, personal experience, my college was actually paid for fully through my Ideal savings program. As a result of Ideal and their support, I have not had any college debt as of graduating this Saturday, which is a huge deal for anyone who is looking to create the best opportunities for their families going forward. But, you know, as we're looking into this matchup, there's 2 things I want to kind of call out that are interesting about the finals. First of all, Burley has gone undefeated so far in their season. So as we are seeing this back and forth between Burley and Twin Falls, it's going down to the wire, but Burley is showing a lot of how that effort has gone throughout the season. The other interesting thing I want to call out that I've noticed is that both of the second-seeded teams have been knocked out of the running for first and second. And they have been beaten out by the 3rd seed for both of those matchups, and even for the 3rd place matchup, they're not in there. They're right now, they were the 5th and 6th team by, which is really interesting to see. You know, seeding isn't everything. It's definitely showcasing that it can help a lot, and it does show your strength level, but it's kind of been an interesting thing in these finals so far to see.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into a position like this, I mean, not everybody's been in a setting like this one. You have so many people watching. You have us yapping about it on live stream. You have the LAN environment that a lot of people aren't used to fighting in because they're used to playing it in internet online. So it's a really different environment that a lot of people aren't used to. So really getting to it is a really big indicator of how skilled an individual player is.
But it's also so fun to see because as we can hear the roar of the crowd when a wonderful knockout goes through and the excitement of a match won, it can be so fun to see. But we are now going to jump into the 2nd round of this best of 3 matchup for the finals here. Twin Falls and Burley right now. Falco for Twin Falls, Min for Burley. And it has been an interesting upset.
Yeah, Min. Actually, this is the Kazuya player swapping it over to Min for this time around. That is definitely an interesting swap.
Yeah, you know, compared to like Kazuya and Min, they're both very like good characters that people have seen a lot of success with. But it has been interesting to see where that is going with the Kazuya swap out. This could either be an opportunity for Twin Falls or something that Burley is very confident in going forward. As we do see Min take a loss on the stock here.
Not what you thought would happen so early, especially with a character like Min who can really get up and at him super quick with their recovery. However, Falco is just doing such a good job at zoning her out and doing a lot of damage. He just can't be pinned down for all too long.
Yeah, as we continue back and forth, Falco looking to try and get away with as little stock loss as possible, which would be huge, but this grab is so dangerous here. It's not going to be the knockout just yet, but the recovery has to go through, but it's okay because the Min recovery failed. So much back and forth there, but what a great momentum shift for Twin Falls because they were able to gain a 3-stock lead there.
Indeed, as we move on to one of our next games, it's going to be Skull and Endless. We got Bowser versus Cloud. What's going to go on? It looks like the counter from Cloud's Limit is going to take down Bowser to his final stock. Endless still holding on with 2 stocks.
Yeah, and as this back and forth continues, even in percentage, but not in stock, which is going to be what could be the make or break here. Bowser finding some luck here on the ledge. Limit is close, but will they find a use for it? If Bowser lets them even get near, it doesn't look like it's fully going to go through.
He was able to use the limit, which kept him up in the air. It triggered off of Bowser's fire. However, he wasn't able to do a whole lot after that until now. He's actually been able to shove Skull right off the side of the stage and into the blast zone. Endless taking the round.
Only taking quite a bit of punishment at the beginning, but finding victory in the end there, continuing forward. You know, as we're continuing to look at all of these teams, another interesting thing to call out how Burley was undefeated and that they are currently, you know, showing quite a bit of power in this matchup. But Rigby, they're the people that were potentially seeded to go against them, actually were also undefeated. and they have been knocked out of contention for that, which is an interesting thing to see looking at that matchup. You know, we were hyping up the fact that Burley has quite a strong record, but we are seeing a lot of upsets in these games. So with Twin Falls leading with 3 stocks right now, going into this matchup against Joker, that is a big deal to see where this could go. And I am so excited to see it, as Joker is now going to be playing for Burley here as Falco continues his run for Twin Falls.
And those are always the most interesting ones, too. You get to see some signs of players that you may not be able to see all the time, and sometimes seeing that upset can just be a real igniter. It can be really awesome to watch, especially a team that maybe was considered an underdog rise up. I mean, who doesn't love an underdog story?
Yeah, we always love to see it, but now Joker has Arsene activated and looking to make the most of it, launching Falco into the air, trying to find that combo, but Twin Falls is going to dodge around it, avoiding the most of the attacks that they possibly can. Last minute here, but using all ranged abilities to create some space and actually throw Joker into the air. That's going to be a knockout that I was not expecting to see that right there.
Yeah, but Falco played it perfectly. That's exactly how you're supposed to go up against Joker while he's in Persona. You're supposed to wait it out, make sure that you can go in stronger the next time, and then just take him out while he's vulnerable, in his vulnerable state. I mean, until Joker just comes up and backhands you into the blast zone, but I mean, there's not too much you can do about that one.
I mean, that's exactly what happens when Arsene is out. Joker goes from smacking you around to curb stomping you across the arena, and you've got to be so aware of that resource. And we see that Hyper Shot is undeterred right now. Twin Falls just looking for those opportunities and continuing to rack up the damage.
Yeah, so much damage being done, but needs one solid hit to really seal the deal.
And getting caught off guard on ledge does not seem to be helping, but we find that attack that we need, launching Joker into the air, bringing Burley down to 1 stock.
Looks like everybody is sort of in. It's do or die time for both of these teams. Hyper Shot really needs to find the pick here, or at the very least wait it out for a time where he can. I mean, you deal damage, you do wear down that meter even faster, so it can help to attack him every now and again, but you need to make sure you're not playing too recklessly, especially into a character like Joker. However, with Arsene completely gone, Hyper Shot is now free to pretty much go right into it. I mean, obviously you got to avoid any sort of combo making from Joker, but Hyper Shot has no problem in doing that, especially as Pez doesn't really have too many of his options. Able to do quite a bit of damage, but not able to really close anything out. Hyper Shot got a very dangerous rate, but so is Pez, and Hyper Shot is going to be found. Pez still in this game.
Now back and forth here. This is a penultimate moment right now. If Hyper Shot is able to defeat Pez right now on the Joker, that does mean that Hyper Shot has managed to make it to the 3rd round of this game 2 here with 1 stock left. There is 1 character left for Burley to take down this bird. He is angry and ready to go, and it is so far looking great for Twin Falls. They might be able to find the advantage and bring this to a 1-1 right now.
Man, what a round so far. They need an answer to Falco. They haven't been able to find one so far, but moving into this game, Frag Cake on the mid-mid, Thunder Fury on the Ridley. Can we see a little bit more success? We're still fairly even with 2 stocks each. It'll all come down to who gets that first hit, and Thunder Fury will be the punching bag in this scenario.
That is where we're looking to see right now. Min taking so much punishment right now, and Ridley is just capitalizing on it, but not out of the woods yet. As we can see, there is very few stocks left on the board, with Thunder Ridge representing by Ridley and Min representing Jerome. The 7th and 8th placement match right now is a big determiner for these teams, and we can see the intensity in the way that they are playing to figure this out.
Yeah, lots of punches being traded from the Min, and Thunder Fury hasn't really been able to get super close to finish her out. I mean, 136%, but it's going to be found eventually, and there it goes. Thunder Fury still just looking for a way to even things out, but Frag Cake is not going to make that easy.
Back and back and forth. Min finding the grab to throw Ridley off the side, but not finding that knockout just yet. So we might as well try again, see where it goes. Throw into the air, use the dragon arm to try and get some projectiles out and shield away any nasty attacks, but Ridley, finding a chick in the armor, begins the combo, getting a grab and throwing Min into the air. Now trying to look for that potential knockout. Min is going to charge straight through with a bit of a dive attack there. And now bringing it closer back and forth. This is anyone's game still. One combo, one parry could be the determiner.
Indeed, 88% up to 100. They both need one good shot, especially Thunder Fury. He needs to find something here. He wants to try and find the win. However, Frag Cake is in a really good position to get things done and already getting those hits in, but Thunder Fury is able to keep on keeping on. He's not out of this one yet. Oh, nope, now he is.
There he is. Min getting away with it at 100% there, holding on to continue these back and forths as we see the finals matchup starting up again. Going to Final Destination, very thematic for this matchup. Right now, for Burley, represented by Rob, they need to take one stock away from Hypershot on Falco to continue this run. But if Hypershot manages to take a 3-stock victory and with one stock, it'll be a crazy comeback for them.
Definitely Hypershot still in it, very much so. Doopy is still in it. He's trying to get a little bit more damage in. However, Hypershot is doing a good job at sort of dodging about everything you can throw at him. A lot of good recovery options for Rob. However, once you're going into Hypershot on the Falco, it can make things a little bit more tricky to really get in there. A lot of damage attempted, but nothing really coming out of any of it.
And right now, Rob just taking hit after hit, finding some brawling in close quarters now. Ooh, gets the grab off, tries to go for the throw, but Falco is able to spin out. A wily bird perhaps trying to stay away and get the knockout. That's the first stock down, and it is not Twin Falls, it's Burley.
Burley really coming out to play. They know what's on the line and they're willing to risk it all to get it, and Hypershot is really showing off his skills right now. Doopy really just needs to find the pick before any more stocks can be lost. He's got one more game still to play after this, and Hypershot is far from the last thread left in the roster. He's still looking for his aerials, trying to use them. He's got some really good ones to use, but not getting as much value as you would probably like. Hypershot still very high up there. He's in the threat range for sure, but he needs something big right now.
But he has still made such a strong marker here on the recovery, looking for it, gets through, and hits Rob away, backing off, showing so much resolve right now, just trying to find that one opportunity. Doopy knows they just need one move, and then they can settle this to continue the round for Burley, and Twin Falls wants to shut this down. Impossible! Can we get the recovery? 1-1 on the stocks, fighting 143%. What an insane moment! As Rob is able to seal the deal, but not before losing 2 stocks. Burley on their last stock right now against 6 stocks for Twin Falls.
What a spectacular run out of Twin Falls. We've been seeing so much good play. Congratulations to Hypershot. I mean, 8 stocks in one life.
That's impressive,
insane.
Especially as we were mentioning, Burley, their current opponent, has been undefeated so far, and they have managed to pull Burley down to their last character and last stock. This is their chance to break that record at the finals.
They have grabbed them by their belt loops and said, if I'm going down, you're coming down with me, and they have just been pulling at them this whole time. We've been seeing some great plays out of them, and I can't wait to see how these final matches are going to go. But in the meantime, we got Luigi and Link. Glue, shout out Glue, epic name.
You're getting Bryce's MVP name right now, it seems.
No, it's MVN.
MVN, most valued name. As we get into this matchup, take a little breather from what we've been watching. Luigi versus Link. So far, Luigi on his last stock here as Link trying to find an opportunity through, leaving the grenade on the floor. Could be dangerous. Luigi shielding, waiting for a potential impact, but luckily does not end up happening and able to breathe easy for a little bit longer. Just gonna chuck it out of the way. Don't even want to deal with it.
Not my problem. Not my circus, not my monkeys. None of my business.
Isn't it his circus and his monkeys right now because this is the game he's playing in?
I don't know.
Anyway, he gets the grab off, and he's going to throw Link into the air. Link trying to look for an opportunity, but getting deflected right now, so going to have to get up close and personal, throwing Luigi into the air using his sword, trying to get a couple hits off, and look for the knockout for this last stock.
Yeah, still doing a lot of damage. He's going to find it with
There's
the
the spin to win.
The spin.
The spin.
The most powerful move on every character.
Link taking a knockout for Woodridge there as they get ready to go. And we can see our matchups in the background for finals getting ready to go. But Inkling versus Zelda right now, a tale of as old of time at this point. I think we've seen this matchup quite a few times, but just with different characters as Spike finds that knockout, spiking Zelda into the air, not down. That's what we normally see, but you know what? The name works. As now we're going to cut back to our finals. This is going to be quite the matchup, actually. Me, Swordsman, versus Rob.
And we've seen a lot of Ridley out of this player before.
It's true, yeah, this has been a Ridley matchup, but we're going to swap it up for the finals here as Twin Falls looks to close it out and Burley looks to hold on. Burley having only one stock left for this matchup. If Burley loses here, we're going into game 3, and Twin Falls knows that, bringing out the Me Swordsman to try and create some counter for the zoning back and forth here, we can see.
And you know, out of all the Me's, we don't really see Me Sword Fighter too often in comparison to Brawler or Gunner. But they do have a lot of interesting things that they can pull out of their pockets as well. A surprising number of projectiles, believe it or not. You have your Wind Gusts, you have your Chakrams, you have so much stuff that you can just pull out and throw it. And Doopy is really kind of figuring that out live as...
Already as the knockout happens, and we're going to game 3! Burley 1, Twin Falls 1. Both teams do not want to let this go without the best fight we can possibly find. As Burley here needs to figure out their strategy. They were looking really strong early here, but Twin Falls has started to find their momentum. As both teams prepare to get into it, this is going to be quite the finals matchup here. And I am so excited to see what characters teams go back and forth as we get ready to jump into it, though. I would like to give another wonderful shout out to today's broadcast, also being brought to you by Core Technologies, Idaho's trusted partner for IT, cybersecurity, and business technology solutions. Whether you're a growing business or an established organization, Core Technologies helps keep your system secure, connected, and running at full speed. Learn more at goitc.com.
And what a few rounds that it has been. We've been seeing a lot of really good play out of a lot of these players, and overall, I wouldn't expect the finals to go any other way. I mean, this is the ultimate round. You got the two best players in the tournament playing against each other. I would be surprised if it didn't end up going to that final round. So I'm glad to see that we're seeing such a close matchup.
Yeah, I mean, so often when we are in matchups like these, you know, we've seen some back and forth, like, just go so fast, and it just doesn't always happen.
Yeah, moving back in. Look who it is. It's Hypershot. No rest for the wicked, I guess. He's just going right back into it. Going up against Pez and off the Joker this time around and on to the Cloud, hoping for a little bit more success in this character. I mean, to be fair, Pez had the most impact on Hypershot out of any other member of the team, so maybe this is how you shut out Twin Falls. Overall, we've been seeing a lot of good play out of both. Hypershot not able to get as much value as he had been in the past, as Pez is able to just get a lot of attacks off incredibly fast, not allowing any second of rest, and that's exactly what you want when you're playing against the Falco. Never give them a second to think, because they're not going to do the same to you. Pez doing a lot of damage here really fast, but now giving Hypershot, he gave him that second to recompile. Can he get right back up and at him, but with limit up, it misses! He can't use it for anything useful, and it's going to result in both players off the stage. And trying to read it, he reads it correctly. Pez is going to find that first stop. Hypershot still looking for a little bit more damage to get this final stock through. Pez looking to try and get back, but Hypershot is going to stuff him out. He's not going to be able to get right back onto stage. It is incredibly close still. I mean, we're still seeing a whole lot of back and forth from both of these players, but Pez starting to take the early lead, and that's sometimes what you need in order to really get things moving. This is for your undefeated record, Pez. You need to keep that up and win this round if you want to keep that, because you give Hypershot an inch, he will take a mile, as you saw in that last round. Hypershot still struggling to get right down on the ground. Pez is now finding himself inside of that combo, but with that limit, he's got an escape tool that he can use if he ever needs it. There's a lot of stuff that can happen to it, but it goes away, and he misses the recovery. Hypershot still in this one at 98%. He's still got a long ways to play. Okay, take a second to recompile here. Pez still at 11%, Hypershot still at 2 stocks. Pez needs to find something before this final stock goes away. You give Hypershot 2 stocks to work with, he will be able to run almost the entire way through. Pez, almost found in the combo, is going to get hit by quite a bit, has to use the limit in order to stay on the stage, but that might come back to bite him. That's a really good kill confirm tool that is now off the table.
That will be dangerous, especially because we've seen how far Hypershot can go and where that has been. But so far, Cloud has a very strong tool for that answer, just so powerful, and that will be all that we have to deal with, as that is going to be the knockout for Hypershot.
That is what you need if you are Pez, but at 105%, you need to find it here. You got to get something done incredibly quick, because Hypershot has done a lot with 1 stock before, and he's still got 2 teammates left in the bag with the limit coming through. Pez is going to do a lot of damage, but not enough to secure any sort of stock. Hypershot needs to get back onto stage, and fast. He's not quite able to get past Pez. He's able to ledge guard it very, very well, but he needs to get there and do something with it. Both players at above 100%. This is make or break time, folks. And it's going to be Hypershot to break the stalemate.
What an insane moment. Hypershot running it back. This is what we saw last time. Able to take the first game and keep that momentum going. The real question right now is, will Burley be able to find an answer to that right now, as it has not happened just yet. And with that, actually, to check in, we have had the rest of the matches kind of start to fill in, as Rigby has been able to manage to take 3rd place in the 3rd place seeding matchup. So Jerome as well is going to be taking 7th. And with that, all we've got left is the championship game, going all the way to game 3. So as not such, we know all standings but 1st and 2nd place. What an exciting actually ending to be on right now.
And no, I wouldn't even have it any other way. I feel like that is exactly how this should be. The ultimate game, final one on the way. Two more players left. Can Hypershot continue the train?
And we'll have to see who his opponent will be. We saw the previous Joker player swap over to their... Wow, my brain just blanked on the character name, which is crazy because they're all right in front of me. Cloud, there we go. How did I forget Cloud of all characters? I'm so sorry, Cloud. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve me forgetting his name. But right now, Cloud is done and out. With that, Burley and Twin Falls will be going into their next matchup. Falco versus someone. They have to decide who they're going to be putting in their lineup here.
I think they got to put in Doopy.
Doopy?
He's got to get his get back. I mean, he got really close that first time. He ended up taking the stock, but it took him 2 stocks to do it. I think Doopy goes in, cleans house.
So you're thinking Rob might be the next character to see.
I'm thinking Rob. I think Rob could be very, very good.
And that is versus the Kazuya versus, Kazuya or Min player, if I remember correctly, was the other person on the matchup. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them right now, but I'm also not entirely shocked to see Kazuya. Did Kazuya just knock out Hypershot?
I don't know. I mean, unless they got 2 stocks that quickly, I think that might be
if any character can do it, it's Kazuya.
That is true.
Kazuya has the right
Kazuya took 2 stocks, had 2 stocks taken. He was on 1 stock.
Oh, you're so right. I mean, Falco's been pretty fast as well. Practice.
Oh,
perfect. We're
practice,
good.
yes.
Well, we do know who's going to be showing up then. It's going to be Kazuya versus Falco as we jump into this matchup here. Hypershot will update their stock total as we get into this matchup. Kind of run it back and see where we go. Last time, Hypershot faced off against the Min, and now it's going to be Kazuya once again. And we can see immediately why Burley might want to switch back into Kazuya. Immediately, the combos are going out, and Falco having a little bit of trouble needing to find a recovery point here.
Yeah, just dealing so much damage in such a small amount of time is something that characters like Falco tend to struggle with. They do a little bit of damage, but they attack super fast, so it kind of evens it out. But off the stage is going to be spiked down.
Hypershot was looking to take the spike advantage there, and Kazuya ended up going with the knockout there. So that is going to be a bit of an upset from the previous matchup. Twin Falls losing the Falco that took them so far in the last game, and Burley bringing it a little more even now with Kazuya.
Kazuya was like, caught me off guard. I was playing Min earlier. No, not again.
Not again. So now, Twin Falls needs to find their answer to Kazuya, as Burley has found a bit more of the momentum once again. Going back to the character that has really had such an impact in every match that we've seen so far.
Indeed, this is about to be a buttery smooth game. I'm smelling it. I'm smelling the popcorn. It's very buttery.
Sounds like we're in a theater or something.
It is.
It's a great place to be for this. I mean, I think it's such a fun location, actually, for a finals like this.
It is very fun.
Smash Bros. Being such a community-based game, you know, having everyone there, watching as you play, even though you're playing a match by yourself, you still have your team, your community, your family and friends around here to cheer. And so as we're getting into this finals, I think we can't think of a better place to be able to show off this match on the big screen and really give all of these teams the love they deserve as each player dukes it out to try and get to the finals. This is, of course, the first place matchup. Whoever wins this gets first place, and the other team will be taking second. So it is quite the moment. And right now, as we've mentioned, Burley does have, you know, the undefeated title that they are trying to keep right now. And so far, Twin Falls is holding strong and trying to give them a run for their money.
And wow, they've been running for that money. I mean, they have been taking them almost to the brink at every opportunity. And overall, we've just seen over and over again, these guys have been able to adapt and overcome. I mean, we're already at map 3. We've had 2 game 3s in total. But from the looks of things, it's going to be a Banjo and Kazooie pick into the Kazuya. I can't say I disagree with that pick. I think this is a good one. 2 characters that deal a lot of damage to each other. You just need to be able to trade those hits.
The battle of the DLCs right now is what we're seeing here. It's both looking for their opportunity, using those shields to avoid the brunt of the attacks, and throwing their projectiles out. Banjo throwing his little egg grenade, maybe getting a couple extra projectiles in. Does not want to get too close to Kazuya if he can help it. We've already seen how much damage can be racked up by one combo. Kazuya trying to follow it up with the lasers, but it's not going to go through. And Banjo is going to return to stage for now, though we know that Kazuya does not want to let that happen for too long. If he can help it! And that'll be the first knockout of this round.
Yep, and that's Kazuya for you. He's going to get you down up to a incredibly high percent, very, very fast, and then just capitalize on it from there. Really, that is all you can ask for. But T-Bell able to get the stock right back from using the Wonder Wing, not allowing him to use that special powered up grab that he has. However, so much damage coming through, and he's able to get right back up the stage though.
Oh, but he's gonna get thrown back off the stage once again. Dodges the laser, but has to use a Wonder Wing and gets thrown to the knockout. Kazuya 2 stocks. Right now, Banjo and Kazooie at 1. Burley finding that momentum to take the game back right now. And Banjo needs to think quick before he's out of not only Wonder Wings, but the percentage to deal the damage he needs to get done.
Yeah, he needs to realistically get at least 1% or one more stock here in order to give him a chance. Twin Falls is a good team, but they need every advantage they can get against their opponent. However, T-Bell has not really been able to get up there to him. Kazuya doing a good job at just stuffing out every push, and it's just going to lead to T-Bell falling off the map.
And with that, Kazuya has been able to bring the lead back to Burley. They have a 2-stock advantage now, if I remember correctly, and with that, Twin Falls is going to their last character to try and find a way past Kazuya, and then the next character that'll be coming up, if they can make it to that. That is going to be their big challenge right now, because Burley has gone back to their tried and true, and we can see why it's so effective.
Yeah, we need to see him find another Hyper Shaman. We need to see him find another Grand Slam, great run out of their next player. Yeah, they got to take 5 stocks while realistically not losing any in the first round. You essentially have to 2-stock Kazuya if you really want a chance against their final player. However, it is going to be Jay on the Mii Sword Fighter.
I love how we're switching to the Mii Sword Fighter for the end here. As a certified Mii Sword Fighter fan, out of all 3 of the Miis, I am very happy to be seeing this in the final. I'm getting all my favorites at some point during this tournament, so this has been a good time. But yeah, with that, this could be the penultimate moment here. If Sword Fighter can't find a way through, then Burley is going to take this on their second character, and so we are going to be watching this back and forth for quite some time. Both of these players going to be fighting to their hardest, as we see Kazuya trying to go in for a combo, and Mii Sword Fighter just using their wind and chakram to the best of their potential to just throw and keep them at a distance. But it's not enough, getting launched into the air. Kazuya looking to follow it up, but Sword Fighter having that platform is a little extra room to try and jump away.
But it also gives a lot of room for an aerial from Kazuya, and that's going to be where the cookie crumbles. It's just not quite enough movement in order to get around. Mii Sword Fighter almost needs to get in there to do a little bit more damage, but at the same time, he can't really risk getting close to Kazuya at the risk of, 15 damage from a single jab. It's just a hard matchup to go into, and I feel like using the projectiles is probably the best way to get things done.
And that is what they're going to try, but Kazuya continues to close in, looking for those attacks. Sword Fighter finding an opportunity, throwing Kazuya into the air, not letting him have his stable footing for those combos that he wants to be activated. Now in his higher powered up form, a grab could be a knockout for Mii Sword Fighter. But they find it and knock Kazuya out, bringing him to 1 stock.
Yeah, play it until they make a mistake, play it until they're stunned. That's exactly how you want to play against a character like Kazuya, and I feel like Mii Sword Fighter is the perfect character to do it with. It's not the first character you'd think of, but it's the last character you'd expect to really go head-to-head against him. And we're seeing that come to effect really effectively right now. 56% on Kazuya and counting, and he hasn't been able to land a single hit in this stock.
Needs to be mindful moving forward. The Tornadoes really putting in the work for Sword Fighter as they throw Kazuya up into the air. Twin Falls finding some momentum here on the ledge, but backing off before it's too late, but it's not enough. As Mii Sword Fighter gets launched to the ledge there, still on their second stock, but everything matters if they want to try and take it from the next player. If they can knock this Kazuya out, now at 99%, just barely out of range of the power-up. Going to get another combo off and throw Sword Fighter into the air. Twin Falls looking to find some steam, try and knock him out, but it's not going to happen, and now they have to contend with a much stronger arsenal of abilities.
Yeah, realistically, if you you take out Kazuya after or before he hits that 100%,
oh, and then
he's gone!
With that, Twin Falls and Burley are going to their final characters for the final round. Sword Fighter, Mii Sword Fighter needs to find a way with 1 stock as they go up against the final player for Burley, which, as we've been teasing, we do know at least for last round it was Doopy on Rob. So we'll have to see if the Rob is coming back out or if we're going to see a bit of a switch up here. But either way, this is the last matchup. 1 stock left for Twin Falls. If they get knocked out even once, this goes to Burley.
It is do or die time right now. 1 stock to 3. It is incredibly crunch time. If there ever was a crunch time, it is right now. And I feel like this is where players truly shine. I mean, we're going to see the final player for one team. We're going to see a player who's been in for a round on their own, already down 2 stocks, but still has the fire and the hunger to keep it going. Can Twin Falls break the unbeaten record?
That is the question today, and whoever does will be able to come home with our trophy for today as well. This is what we're contending for right now, and the other team will be going home with second place, and we will be solidifying our roster results for today, as this is the final matchup. Both teams in this best of 3 vying back and forth to find this result. Me Swordfighter versus potentially Rob versus the world. That is so true. 1 stock versus 3 stocks really does feel like the world. And you know, when you're in a crew battle like this, with your entire team fighting as hard as they can to bring you to this point, you also have that responsibility, recognizing, you know what? This is it. This is what I and my team have been fighting for, and both teams recognize that. So it's such an incredible moment to be able to see this culmination of the season, of the tournament, and of everything for this year. For some, they'll be high school seniors where this is their last opportunity, and for others, this might be their first moment ever in a tournament. All things coming together and culminating for this end of season.
And you know, for some people, maybe both.
Maybe both. You never know. And that is an exciting thing to be able to be here and watch. And I just love getting to see the array of characters and different abilities showcased by all of these players who have been working their hardest in a room of friends and family here to cheer them on, as well as other players here to watch the results of this matchup.
Indeed, as we wait for the next round. I mean, we saw Rob in the first round. Who do you think we might? Do you think we're going to see that Rob again, or do you think we might see something
come out a little different? I don't think we've seen him play enough to know what he might swap to, but I feel like Rob is a solid option. Because as you were talking about earlier with Rob, right, he has more util than you expect in his abilities. Like, his little top is really good for controlling the field. The laser can be really frustrating if you get caught off stage. And he has some really decent grabs. And with Swordfighter having a lot of those options as well, but not being as heavy, that is going to be a big factor. Rob can take a lot more hits than Me Swordfighter can going into this matchup. And to no one's surprise, we are going to be seeing Me Swordfighter versus Rob here as both players get ready to go into it. Already starting off with the projectiles, throwing out the Chakram and the Tornado, trying to keep Doopy at bay. Burley knows that they've got a lot more room to work with than Idaho Falls does right now. Actually, not Idaho Falls, Twin Falls.
Yeah. The fidget spinner comes out from Rob, or if it's a top or a fidget spinner, I'm not 100% sure. All I know is that it is a dangerous projectile to try and go up against. It can start a ton of combos, it can do a lot of damage. It's just something that you need to always be aware of. But Doopy on the Rob able to reflect a lot of the projectiles that are being thrown at him. And Me Swordfighter unable to really pull ahead with a significant lead.
So far, at least, Rob just getting in up close and personal, starting to go for those closer attacks, looking for a grab, while Swordfighter just continues to try and be at bay, but you have to watch out for the laser, and that's going to be a brutal amount of damage.